Welcome to M&J Tabletop Chat. I am Martin.
I'm Julie.
This is Julie. And we want to welcome all new subscribers.
Absolutely.
So, thank you guys for supporting the channel. Thank you for coming on board. Mm-hmm. And, we have a number of changes taking place in the way we structure our chats and the way we structure the information that we're presenting. So you're going to see those changes coming.
Hopefully positive changes.
Hopefully positive changes, yes. Basically, this chat is our chance to get together, geek out a little bit, talk about games. We'll have a segment on games and talk about the hobby as well. You know, the kinds of things I do here in the studio. So, all right.
We do here in the studio.
We do, yes. Because Julie comes in and actually helps me paint. She's going to be helping with the terrain. And she plays the games with me, so I'm very lucky.
You are very lucky.
Anyway, folks, so our first, first of all, we're just over Vanguard Week.
Right.
And that was a very busy...
It was. It was. That was a lot of work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work. And and then we played Vanguard, and of course, as we played the game, we got better and better at it.
Sure.
Right? And scenarios became a lot more fun. It's a very interesting, the scenarios for Vanguard, how the scenarios really affect the game. Like that one game, the fourth game, there were these crevices opening up, right? And models were falling in, or it was just a fun time.
Yeah, just fun time.
Yeah, it was a fun time. But it was a lot of work, guys. I have a lot of respect now for anyone doing YouTube videos.
For sure.
Because the simplest video, especially if you're trying to do a week on a subject, like Game of the Week or Project of the Week, it's a lot of work, a lot of editing. And then when we're doing the battle reports, we got to stop and, take pictures. And it's very involving, so...
Next up then,
Oathmark.
Oathmark.
Yay! And we are excited about Oathmark. Yeah.
I think it's going to be my favorite game.
You think so?
Yeah, I really do.
I know that Wrath of Kings is your favorite tabletop game right now. But Oathmark is challenging that.
Well, it's just the whole idea of designing your own world. And being able to make it whatever you want, put things, you can make it up of whatever kinds of races you want, as far as elves or
whatever. Yeah.
I love that, and you can design it. It's very strategic, I think. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's interesting because even designing the kingdom, you're thinking about strategy.
Absolutely.
And one of the things that really drew me to Oathmark, like you just said, we're not worried about orcs being evil, goblins being evil.
Right.
They're all part of your kingdom.
Right.
Elves, orcs, dwarves, everybody fighting together as one happy family.
Well, maybe not happy. But
maybe not happy.
If it's a real family,
probably not happy.
But yes, everyone fighting together, regardless of differences or anything else.
Yeah, very, very unique. And the kingdom sheets we're going to show you now are sort of the unique aspect of Oathmark. It's what separates Oathmark from the other games we've played. So we're going to show them the kingdoms then. All right. Okay. We have our kingdoms. Why don't you go first?
So this is my kingdom sheet. I chose, for my capital, elves. So it's an elf capital.
Cool.
Then just outside the elf capital, I have a mountain pass. And with the mountain pass comes dwarf border guard.
Right.
Which is why I chose that. See, this is where the strategy comes in. Because I put the border guard there to protect the capital. Then in the plains, this gives me the cavalry. So I've also got protection here from that.
And they're also human cavalry.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Right, humans in the cavalry. The humans don't have a separate city, but they are part of my kingdom.
Sure.
Then I've got a goblin city, a dwarf city, dungeons, and rivers, and all of those things will protect
Right.
everything. You know,
And they'll give you different units because the rivers, for example, we wrote the units here. It gives you trolls, right? So you'll have access to trolls. And then dungeons.
It gives me a goblin spellcaster.
So it looks like you have an elf city there to give you all your regular troops, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then your elf capital, you can choose a princess, a general, whatever.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Then the forest gives you the elf rangers.
Uh-huh.
Then I've got the rivers for the trolls, but I like the way it's protecting. Like it's I set it up that way on purpose. Let's hope it works.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. And then,
absolutely,
of course, on the 5th ring, we're gonna put all the cities that we conquer from each other.
Right.
So that's great. Now you don't have a name for your kingdom or your ruler yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I will.
All right, and you're thinking that. Well, it's going to be a sort of female, like a queen.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, she's female. I just don't know her name yet.
All right. All right. Well, that looks good. Well, I'm going to show my kingdom now. Okay, so for my kingdom, I chose goblins, goblin capital city. Then I moved on and put a goblin city, so I have access to like spearmen and all that stuff. I put a grassland right here, and that's going to give me some goblin cavalry.
Okay.
Then I have a tower for elf sorcerer.
Okay.
Some dark hills so I can get spiders.
Oh, I hate those things.
Spiders. No, I'm sorry. It's the dark forest that gives you.
Dark forest gives you spiders?
Yeah,
Okay.
dark forest gives you spiders. The dark hills gives me something else. Then I have a dungeon. I have a kennel here.
I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to give me some like a master and some dogs.
Right.
And then I have a cavern over here because there's a specific monster that I want to add. So,
okay.
yeah, very cool. And
nice.
then,
You set it up good too. You use strategy as well, I think.
yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see.
We'll
You
see.
usually end up winning. Then the kingdom name is Kingdom of Maldragor.
Ooh,
And my current ruler is Sharbad, the Swarm King.
interesting. Okay.
And that covers our kingdom sheets. Now,
Awesome.
when we start the game, before we start a scenario, we're going to fill out the armies
Right.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be choosing them from our kingdoms.
Right.
All right, so we're going to see how that goes. And here we are, folks, at the oathmark table where we're pretty much, Julie was helping me pick some models and just a lot of models from the collection so we can kind of fill in everything that we have in the kingdoms.
Right.
So,
as I'm looking at this, I'm noticing how you're moving them in blocks, which makes
Right.
sense because otherwise it would take 2 years to play the game.
right.
Now, they don't come with anything. Do they
No.
sell these things? But you make them? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I make my own regiment trays, and I'm working on this one right now. You'll probably help me decorate these, so
Okay.
that you see how I
Yeah.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it saves a lot of money. They do sell these. They do. They do sell them, but I rather make my own. And
Well, sure.
yeah, I can kind of measure it to the units that I have. And this is a Goblin Archer unit, okay? And we are using, we're going to be using some really old Lord of the Rings figures for the goblins. All right, so I hope that's okay with you.
Oh, it's fine. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, and then this is my Hunt Master with the dogs.
Nice.
Different kinds
Yeah,
of,
I like it.
critters. Right?
You know which one my favorite is. You're getting there, but
Right here?
no.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna use this Hordes model. There's an actual monster. It's like a flying serpent. I forget the name of it, but it's an Oathmark, and I think we're gonna use this because it's very serpent-like.
I love it.
Right?
Yeah, I really do. It's
I
one of my
love that
favorites.
model. Yeah. We're gonna use this as a Lundworm for Oathmark. That's a Reaper miniature. What else? I mean, there's a ton of stuff here.
Spiders.
Yes, my giant spiders. I'm gonna be basing these, using them, maybe repainting a couple. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
Julie's helping me with the painting.
I am.
And one very important thing, folks, we're gonna be using Frostgrave gnolls
Right.
instead of orcs.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever we have a dungeon, a city that like an orc city or anything like that,
Right.
we're using gnolls instead.
And that's what I was painting today, basically.
Yes. And I have 20 gnolls. We do have oathmark humans coming.
Yep.
So I will have an unboxing.
The humans are coming.
The humans are coming. and I have a box of dwarf heavy infantry coming.
Okay, cool.
So 2 oathmark boxes. We won't be using most of these models. I think we've pretty much, this is going to be your border guard right here, your dwarf border guard.
Mm-hmm.
So we're pretty much, and then trolls, we're going to use these guys as trolls, these big reaper orcs, okay? And then we have elf archers back here,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, did you notice what I did with the elves?
No.
We're gonna have our elves. That's gonna be a broad category. We're gonna have dark elves, wood elves, sylvan elves, all together.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, and the races are not gonna mean anything, but there'll be dark elves in the units. So it's like really enforcing that diversity thing.
Right.
So.
Yes, absolutely.
And all of our wizards and hero characters are in this pile here. So.
All right, so that was all the progress that we made so far with the oathmark. I know there's a little bit more work before we can actually begin the oathmark week. When might that be?
That's a good question. We do have a little bit more. We need at least another week, I think. For Vanguard Week, it took me 4 weeks to prepare for Vanguard Week.
Every week was like, Vanguard Week is coming, Vanguard Week is coming.
Yeah, Vanguard Week's coming, and everybody's like, when? You said that 2 weeks ago.
Exactly. Right.
But I had 4 faction boxes to paint, so I was painting 1 faction a week, and assembling and everything.
Right, and that's besides all the other things that you do here in the studio.
Right, and besides terrain making, and then I realized when I was in Vanguard Week, we didn't have the wagons for Game 2.
Right.
So I had to quickly make some wagons.
That was the coolest thing, all of those wagons you made. They were so awesome.
We'll show them again at the end of the video. You'll see a picture of those wagons.
Yeah, really
Wagons
good.
on the fly.
Yeah.
So, getting back to the point, it's going to take us a while.
Right.
Now that Julie's helping me, she's doing a lot of the base coating, as you're going to see in a minute. And then maybe another week.
Yeah, it should go faster with me helping in the studio now.
Absolutely. Yeah. And let's go take a look at Julie while she's helping me in the studio get some oathmark models. Okay, so here we are in my studio, and we have Julie, special guest Julie today in the studio.
Hello.
She's helping me out. Aren't I lucky, guys? I'm really lucky. Look at all the stuff she's base coated already. This is all in preparation for oathmark. And now she's base coating my gnolls.
Yep.
So how is it, Julie? How's it going?
It's great. It's going awesome. It's
And
perfect.
how do you like base coating?
I like it a lot, actually, because it's easy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to have any special coordination or motor skills, and
Yeah.
and it's good. I like it a lot, actually.
Great. And that's, of course, going to be a great help for me. Once she's done there, they come here, and then I'm doing the details on the different models. And this is as far as I got with the goblins. Still working on these, but now you're starting to see some color. There we go, folks.
Nice.
Goblin riders. And again, we both have goblins in our kingdoms, so we're going to need a lot of goblins.
Gives us our update on Oathmark and all of that progress. Now it is time for Hobby Talk.
Hobby Talk!
Yay! Our new segment.
A new segment in these Martin and Julie chats. It's all about the hobbies. So you go ahead, since you these are things that a lot of times you're kind of interested in. You've brought up, during while you're working in
Right, how you get certain effects on certain things.
Right.
Sure. So today we're going to talk about basing the models. And these are some of the things you use to make them look greener, have greenery or water or ice effect, or I know there was one in here you used to make it look rust, like it's rust.
Right.
So why don't you tell us?
Sure. I have a number of products that I use whenever doing my bases. Now, you guys know, any of you guys that have spent a long time in the hobby, we do, you know, we take a little bit of white glue, put it on our base. I usually use a toothpick to kind of spread it around. And then we dip that into some kind of sand or something. And that's how you get like the earthy textures.
Right.
But sometimes those textures are a little bit large. It looks like your figure is kind of on a boulder field or something, right? So there's a lot of different ways to decorate your bases, because the bases on your models, they tell a story.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So these are some of the materials that I use. All right, and so the first product I want to talk about is Vallejo Earth Texture. And I usually get these in 200 ml bottles, or it's 6.76 fluid ounces.
Right.
And if you don't mind opening that, this is a very coarse texture paste, and Julie's gonna open that for me. Okay, and you guys,
it's kind of hard to see because
there it is. You got it. You got it right on the light, right there. You can see that texture. Okay, it's a very very dark, very coarse texture paste. And what I do with that, I take my toothpick or a little craft stick, and I spread that on the bases. You have to be very careful because it dries like concrete.
Okay.
All right.
Good to know.
Yeah.
That's a good
So
tip.
if you use this on any bases, you got to be
Right.
careful you don't get it on the legs, unless you want that kind of effect.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
But it's very coarse, and it gives you excellent replacement for the whole craft sand thing.
Okay.
You do have to paint it, but it adds a lot of strength to the base, because again, it's like concrete when it dries. Okay. And the next product, this is the same thing, but this is from Liquitex. If you don't mind opening that. That's more of a sort of a, I don't have any left. I've ordered more. But you can kind of see it there in the bottom. Actually, you can see it pretty well. It's almost like a silica sand.
Okay.
Okay, and you can paint that. It's not as coarse as the lava. It gives you a finer texture.
All right.
Okay, and I'm gonna see if I get a couple of model bases in a second, and you'll kind of see that. This one, this is Liquitex Iridescent Medium, and this is a liquid, and it's very shiny. It's like it's like a pearlescent medium, right? And I use this to paint my insect wings.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, my insect wings, because it gives it like this pearlescent shine.
Right.
It's very hard to mimic insect wings on models.
I'm sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So
that's
I have
a great idea.
Yeah, I have a whole kind of way of doing that with silver paint and some of this like iridescent stuff.
So then
Brown Earth is another product that I use. This one you don't even have to paint, if you don't mind on doing that, just so I can show the folks. Basically that one mimics mud, okay, and it is excellent for weathering your tanks, your vehicles. You can see that in there.
Sure.
It looks very much like mud, and I use it again on the tracks of my tanks.
Okay.
Excellent. But I do it on my model bases too. Then we have typical like sand mixes that I do, little pebbles, right? This, if you don't mind opening that, that is a product that I've had this for quite a while.
Okay.
Can you guess what those are?
It looks like fish food.
It does, doesn't it? It does.
It does.
These are actually dry leaves, and you put this on a base like in a fall setting, or to mimic leaf litter.
Sure.
And sometimes I'll paint them. Just sprinkle a few of these on your base, and it looks like leaf litter, and I love it. I'm gonna show you a couple of bases in just a second. And then of course we use static grass.
Okay, sure.
And it,
lots of that.
if you don't mind holding this.
No.
One trick that I've learned is using super glue and baking powder. And you get a very good layer of thin snow. You can use it to mimic ice, like Julie said, or you could paint over it, and it gives you a very fine dirt.
Nice.
Okay, and I use it on my tanks, my little tanks, to weather, to put mud on the tracks.
Right.
So that trick is very good, that whole super glue and baking powder.
I love the super glue.
And then for rust effects, Julie, you just mentioned this.
Yes.
This is just salt. Okay, and you put
regular table salt.
Regular table salt.
Okay.
And I paint over the let's say a car, whatever it is. Sprinkle this all over it, let it dry, and then brush off the salt, and you get all these like peels and rust effects.
Nice.
And you can coat them some of those pieces with this rust color. And this is special like rust pigment. And it really looks rusty and damaged, and it's just great for weathering. So those are kind of my little things. And of course, I make my own flock, and I use my own flock. So let me just show you a couple of the bases before we end the segment.
So here's a base that you did. And there I see the little leaves.
Yeah,
that you were talking about.
Yeah, the fish food.
And this is the fish food, exactly. This is the static grass,
correct?
Right? Yeah, very nice.
You're gonna learn to do all this stuff. Work, help me out a little bit here.
Yep, I intend to. Let's see this one.
Now.
Well, how did you do this one?
Well, this one I didn't use flock. What I did was that a really coarse lava texture. And then I painted it green. I was just experimenting.
I see.
Okay, but you see how coarse that one is.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that gives you an example.
Now this one, what did you do with this one?
This was a combination of the coarse lava texture and a little bit of sand.
Oh.
Okay, so...
That's a nice effect.
Yeah, it's really coarse, really, like rocky terrain.
No, I like it. It's very, very realistic. Most of your terrain is very, very realistic.
Oh, thanks.
It's the truth.
And then this was some homemade flock. That's actually sawdust.
Okay.
Mixed in with a little bit of sand.
Uh-huh.
But basically, I sometimes do that. I strain my sawdust, get all the fine particles out, and that's what I use on my bases, okay? So.
Great. So that's Hobby Talk. And let's see, Oathmark, we're going to start doing when we're ready. We're preparing for Oathmark right now.
Yep.
And then Ghost Archipelago is on the horizon, right?
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned that. Ghost Archipelago is another game from this author. We're going to spend a little time with Joseph McCullough. We're going to spend a little time with his games. So we're doing Oathmark next, then we'll do Ghost Archipelago, and maybe a little Rangers of Shadow Deep, okay? Now, I don't know how we're going to break up the games of the week. Oathmark's definitely getting Game of the Week. It's going to be the whole week. I don't know yet with Ghost Archipelago and Rangers of Shadow Deep if we're going to lump them together in Game of the Week.
I got
you see? So we'll do half and half.
Okay.
And what we do in Game of the Week, folks, we just try to bring you as many games as possible. And a few, like, faction talks, anything pertaining to that game will go in that week. If we can't play a lot of games, well, then we'll fill in the holes with other things. Okay? So, I hope you will join us for Oathmark Week. And thank you, guys. We're still going to be preparing next week, so keep in mind it won't be for another week. And we have more Oathmark models to show you guys. So, yes. And thank you, Julie, for all the work you've put in. Yay! She's helping me with all the terrain and all the stuff. Awesome.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, I like it a lot.
So
thank you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. And again, thank you, subscribers. We hope that you will stay with us and that... you'll like the changes as you see them in the channel. So have a great one, folks. This is Martin and Julie, M&J.